Hi guys, it's Thursday here. Oh, it's been a mad, crazy week. Let's see how far back I can go. Let's go back to the weekend, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday was Mother's Day. Another day full of gifts, beautiful flowers and chocolates. So I must show you those in another vlog. They're beautiful. Tuesday then was Patrick's Day, so we had a lovely meal on Sunday, actually on Mother's Day. My mum, we brought her down to the house and we had a takeout. We had Chinese takeout and that was nice. I love when we can relax and have it in our own homes. Damien doesn't always like going out to restaurants and being in the public view, I suppose. So we enjoyed that. That was really nice. And then on Tuesday, it was a lovely day. It was St. Patrick's Day, but it was quite cold. So again, my husband collected my mother and brought her down. We had bacon and cabbage and mashed potatoes and roast potatoes for dinner, followed by apple crumble and ice cream. And it was gorgeous, beautiful. Funny thing about us here in Ireland, we don't ever have corned beef. I see a lot of the vlogs from America and they all mention eating corned beef, and we don't ever have it for Patrick's Day. It's usually Irish stew or bacon and cabbage or ham or something like that. So then after dinner we brought Damien for a little spin, a little drive into our local town. The parade was just starting when we got in there, so traffic was quiet on the outskirts, but there was no parking anywhere near the parade, so we didn't actually get to see any of the parade because it would have meant quite a long walk for both my mum and Damien. Neither was up to the walk, and I suppose I wasn't either. So we went to a shopping centre a little bit outside the town, and there was a pharmacy open. Most of the places were closed, being a bank holiday. So we picked up a few things we needed in the pharmacy. My mum wanted a few things and she got them. And then we finished up by getting a KFC for Damien, and we brought that home. So it was a nice Patrick's Day, simple, easy, not an awful lot done, but very enjoyable. So that was Tuesday. So today was Thursday. Oh, yesterday, of course. Yesterday was Wednesday. I have a little vlog here. I'll insert it now. I'm on the way to a funeral to bring my mum with me to the funeral. So I will insert that here. Good morning, guys. Mairead here. Today is Wednesday. Even though it feels like Monday, it's the day after St. Patrick's Day. And always, it just feels like the week is beginning. It's Monday, but it's actually midweek. So that's not too bad. We're halfway there. On my way, the usual pothole, just avoided it, thank goodness. On my way to collect my mother, we are going to a funeral. My aunt-in-law's brother's funeral is on, so we have a little bit of time to get there. I'm a little bit later than I'd hoped to be, but we will get there. A little bit of that fog will slow me down now. I hadn't that factored into the equation, as they say, but look, we get there when we get there. Nice drive, and that's what Damien likes, and he's going back this morning, but my husband is going to have to drive him back because of the funeral. So I'll go here today. I like quiet days when you haven't much to do, but sometimes it's a logistics nightmare trying to sort everything in and slot everything in the right place and time. And can you do this if I do that? And if I do this, can you do that? And can you drive here? And can you collect here? Okay, I suppose it's everybody's life. Isn't that the way we all live nowadays? Our lives are so busy every day that sometimes we slot too much in. We try and get too much done. Makes for a busy life and maybe a stressful life, so sometimes it's nice not to have too much to do and not to have too many places to go. Anyways, I'll talk to you all later. Okay guys, that's a little bit of me going to the funeral. I don't know what funerals are like where you come from, but here here they take place pretty soon after the person has passed on. Maybe the following day the notices go out in the paper, the local paper, or on the local radio stations, and the funeral it consists of 2 days. The first night is called the wake. The person is waked, as they say, in their own home, where people call maybe between a 3 or 4 hour period, maybe from 4 o'clock and late o'clock in the evening, to visit and pay their respects and chat to the family and sympathise, and they usually get a cup of tea and maybe a sandwich. Or if the people would prefer, they go to a local funeral parlour where the undertaker takes care of everything. And again, it's usually for a 3 or 4 hour time, and that will be announced on the radio or on the paper, and people go there and pay their respects to the family, meet them all, and get one last look at the loved one. Then the following day, no, on the same night then, usually in the funeral parlours, at the end of the time, supposed at the 8 o'clock time, the coffin is closed, and the coffin is brought by hearse to the local church where prayers are said. The priest is waiting there to receive it, and all the people go in and say some prayers. And then the following morning, usually about 11 o'clock or so, there is a mass. And after the mass, the burial takes place in a local graveyard. And it's usually a family grave that the person goes into. The other option, of course, is if the loved one is kept at home in their own house, they have the option where they don't leave the house that first night. The coffin stays there until the following morning, and about half an hour before the mass, they leave and head to the church, and the mass and burial take place that day. So they're quite simple, and usually after the burial then there's, well, here in our local village we have tea and sandwiches and things like that are provided for the people who have come to the funeral, and another little chance in the community hall to chat and talk and again meet the family. And especially for people who've travelled a distance, they love having something to eat, something to drink before they face off again on the journey home. So the funeral, I suppose, 3 days and the whole thing is over. So it does seem a little bit quick, because I do know in England and in places like that, funerals sometimes don't take place for 3 weeks after the person has died. So things are different everywhere. So anyway, yesterday on Wednesday we went to a funeral, my mum and myself. It was my mum's sister-in-law's brother. So it was a lovely day, I must say. It was quite foggy in the morning, as you saw in the video, but when we came out of the church the fog had lifted and it was a glorious day, really, really nice. And the graveyard was an absolutely beautiful place, the sun shining, and it's funny to say, but it was a kind of a happy a happy graveyard. Have you ever seen such a thing? But the person who had passed on was 95, I think, so had lived a good long life and had returned from England to be buried here in Ireland, to the place they had left many, many years ago. So happy. I think it was a happy day. Now, we went home after the burial because both of us were quite tired. We didn't follow on. They were going on to a hotel for a meal, but we decided to take things easy. Today being Thursday, I had my appointment. I had my appointment for Lithrotripsey. It's very difficult to say. I'll just show you here on the information sheet. Lithrotripsey information sheet. So this is the process I had done for the second time today. It is basically, I had 2 kidney stones, and they hadn't been paining me or bothering me in any way, but I was getting continual kidney infection, so my doctor sent me for investigation, and this is what they found. So I had the first treatment on the 29th of January. What it consists of, wait till I just read it. First of all, they ultrasound my kidneys and have a look and see what they can see. So they found the 2 stones. And then after this, the treatment begins. And it's a sort of like a heavy pad that's put on my back. It's my left kidney, so I was lying on my tummy and it's put on my back, and it feels like a clicking. You can hear a clicking noise, and it feels like a little spark hitting off your skin. It's not uncomfortable now, and it's very, very bearable. I actually didn't take any pain relief at all this time, even though it was offered prior to the procedure, because I didn't feel I needed it. This goes on for about 20 minutes, and it's supposed to shatter the stone, or if it doesn't shatter it, what it does is it weakens the stone. So over the next couple of weeks I have to drink lots and lots of water, and hopefully the rest of the stone will break down and flush out of the body. Now, I had it done the 29th of January, and I had 2 episodes where I was very ill, 2 different occasions. I can't even tell you when. One was about 2.5 or 3 weeks after the procedure, and the other one was last month. But for about half an hour I felt extremely unwell. I had terrible cramping and pain in my lower groin, and I didn't know whether I was going to be sick or the other way, as they say. And I ended up in the bathroom with a cold sweat out through me with all of this going on. I felt so ill, so extremely ill. So I stayed on the toilet for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it subsided. So I guess that was actually passing either part of the stone or a bit of the stone, and that actually happened twice. So the radiographer today was saying that was probably part of the stone being passed, because I had 2 stones the last time, and today he could only find 1 small one up high in my left kidney. So he said he'd do the treatment again today, and he didn't think I needed to come back anymore, which is terrific. I was talking to the nurse after when she was taking my blood pressure, and I was asking her, like, how often do people generally have to come back and have the treatment on the Lithrotripsey? And she said sometimes it can be up to 6 times. So I'm really glad that 2 times seems to have done the trick for me. But to be careful, he said, and drink lots and lots of water from now on to prevent more stones forming. So that I will have to get on to. So that is my Lithrotripsey information. So I have been sent home. I had to wait there and have some tea in a scone and see were the kidneys working all right after the procedure before I was allowed home, and I had to be driven home, collected. So I got back home here about 4 o'clock, and I've been resting since. I made the dinner okay, and I'm just taking it easy. A little bit of a nagging pain on my left side in no particular place, and feeling a little bit lightheaded. When I get up off the chair or off the sofa, I feel quite faint and have to put my head down. That's all I've noticed. Everything else, I feel fine. I feel grand. So hoping that this is the end of my kidney stones. So that was today, Thursday. Hope you enjoyed my vlog, although it's just me sitting here and talking to you, so maybe not that interesting hearing what I did when you could be seeing what I did. But I didn't like to take my camera out when I was in the hospital. There were many other people actually having it done too, and some of the men were terrified going in for it. I just said to myself, if men had to have babies, what would they be like? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that painful. It really wasn't. Although they do say that if you have to pass a kidney stone, that is, the pain of that is worse than the pain of childbirth. And I have to say that those 2 nights when I was very, very ill for the half an hour, it was pretty sickening. Now the pain was there, but I will never forget the sweat that came out through me. It was a cold sweat, and I actually had to be helped back into the room after being in the bathroom. So how brave am I? So I'll talk to you all soon. That's my busy week so far. I hope you're all having a good week yourselves. So let me know if any of you have had kidney stones and how you're getting on. I'm going to start my, what do they call them again? My cider vinegar, my apple cider vinegar capsules.